As much as I like Generation 3 with Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, I mean, Sapphire was my first Pokemon game, they had their flaws. In today's video, we're going to talk about 10 of them, with not all of them being objective. My number 10 is a simple one: you cannot have both bikes at once. It introduced two types of bikes that you can ride on, and you cannot switch between them easily. You have to go to an NPC, talk to him to switch bikes, and that's just mildly annoying. It's not enough to break the game, but, well, add it up with other issues with the game, and it can add up to becoming a bit annoying. And it's something people tend to forget over nostalgia. My number 9 is Trico being the only non-multi-type starter, making the starters feel unbalanced. This is nitpicking. I'll admit it. I actually had to pick this as one of the negative points, which says a lot about this game. It's great. But why do the other starters get to be multi-type? Why does Trico get left out? Trico is such a cool Pokemon, it would be nice to be multi-type. Now, of course, there are reasons and benefits to not being multi-type. Yeah, I'll admit, it has pluses. But still, it would have been cool if it was a cooler multi-type. But maybe that's just me. Maybe other people disagree. I personally think it would have been nice. My number 8, that in certain aspects the game is too easy. Yeah, my reasons I said the game was good, I said it was perfectly balanced, but just like many other Pokemon games, it does have a few things that are easy to exploit. Especially when it comes to Pokemon availability. Ralts and Lotad being able to be found this early on creates a situation where the game becomes quite easy, as both are very strong Pokemon. With Ralts being able to evolve into Gardevoir, which is just amazing. I'm totally pronouncing that wrong, probably. And well, Lotad is also just a very great Pokemon. And you're able to get a lot of strong Pokemon early on, basically being able to build your final team before entering a single gym. I think that's one thing that I might have messed up with Pokemon distribution. It's a bit too easy to early on build too strong of a team. But that's a bit nitpicking, I'll admit. But number 7 is actually quite a deal breaker. I looked this up and I was surprised. You are not able to transfer Pokemon from Generation 2 or Generation 1 to this game. It was probably a technical limitation thing. They probably were unable to. If they could, they probably would have let you. But not being able to transfer older Pokemon into this game completely sucks. Losing out on previous legendaries, mythics, or whatever shiny Pokemon you catched, and not being able to use them again sucks. Especially since Emerald introduced the Battle Frontier, which is the perfect testing ground for your previous favorite Pokemon. Problem is, you cannot transfer your favorite Pokemon into this game. Yeah. My number 6 is Pokemon contests. I just don't think they're fun, which is a shame. It's cool that they introduced a new way to use Pokemon, a cool new way to use your moves. But Pokemon contests are something I don't enjoy. This is a very subjective thing, I guess. There are people that enjoy it, I've read up some arguments, multiple people don't enjoy it. So it's entirely subjective. But one of the main new things they added as an alternative to just Pokemon battling is not fun. I think that's a shame. My number 5 is actually something I forgot. Then I looked it up and I was like, wait, really? They basically removed the day and night cycle. I mean, there are a few things related to the day and night cycle, but it's not as heavily available as Generation 2 was. Which I think is a shame. The game has an internal clock, you need to set it at the beginning of the game. Which is just basically only used for the EV's evolutions. The technology was there, so why not put it in this game? Was it to save time? I admit, the day and night cycle thing brought some negatives, which made me not a big fan of the mechanic. But instead of just fixing it, improving upon it, removing it entirely was such a shame. Hoenn at night would have been so cool to see, and yeah, I realized it only when I looked it up, and now I feel sad about it. Why did they remove the day and night cycle? Number 4 is that there just simply are too many HMs. There are 8, and you probably need all 8. And that just feels like too much. That's basically 2 Pokemon move slots, or, well, slots of 2 Pokemon used up only for HMs. Basically forcing you to use an HM slave more than ever. Granted, you didn't need to use all the HMs at the same time, and you could just, before getting into a big fight, go to your PC, swap out your slaves for actual proper Pokemon, but like, yeah, no. This game overdid it with HMs, I feel. And it actually became an annoyance in this game. Previous games, it could be argued, yeah, there aren't that many, and some of them, like Surf, are decent moves, but especially in this game, I felt like HMs were just too much. I mean, your water Pokemon basically is guaranteed to only carry HMs at this point. It's ridiculous. My number 3 is no good final rival battle against May or Brandon, whatever your rival is. You never face the evolved starter of the other party, which I think is really weird. Especially since Emerald exists, which could have fixed it, and it didn't. Why? There also can be made an argument that your rival is no longer really a rival, but more of a threat in this game, but yeah. Combine these things and I think it's a shame. My number 2 is an odd one. No Elite Four rematches. It's a huge way to reward a player for building up their endgame team. It's a huge way to grind up your team towards whatever endgoal game you have in mind. Whatever endgame goal you have. But yeah, no. There's no rematch team. In a generation with so many strong Pokemon, I think that's a shame. You also don't have a rematch against Steven Stone in Emerald, which doesn't help here, as the Super Battle also isn't rematchable and the Elite Four isn't, so once you've done these, good gains of late game EXP are basically gone. And yeah, that's honestly a shame. And my number 1, it gets memed a lot, but it's true, there's just simply too much water. Like seriously, it's a meme, but if you actually look at the Hoenn map, about half of it is water. It's too much. And okay, it's cool that certain regions are unique in their own way, and this one is unique by being very heavy water bound. It's also basically one of the thematics with Team Aqua. But it just leads to too much time spent in the water. Also remember the diving just not being the funnest thing in the world. So yeah. Emerald has too much water. 7.8 out of 10 or whatever the feedback was. I hope you all liked this video. If you want to see more like this, let me know in the comments. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye. Oh yeah, and subscribe. You better subscribe. If you subscribe, surely we will get a good Emerald remake for the Nintendo Switch too. If we don't, and you didn't subscribe, now you know why. Just kidding. Have a nice day.